It's all good. It's all good. Thanks for having me, man. I
Yeah,
see you
man.
got a
Thanks for
drink.
doing this.
What's your drink again?
I got some Trader Joe's Merlot. It's very
Trader Joe's
fine.
Merlot. Very nice, very nice. I'm enjoying a drink at the end of my workday myself. It's a
Nice.
little watered down. It's a house recipe. A little bit of La Croix. Is that or La Croix? I don't know how to pronounce it. La Croix sounds kind of French and sophisticated, but that plus some 1942 to unlock the vanilla flavor of the tequila.
Oh, nice. So it's
Añejo.
tequila and sparkling water?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice, man. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Yeah,
I
that
usually go straight up, but it's getting a little late. I don't want to be a liability to my wife because once I start drinking after like 9, 10, 11 p.m., like, I whine about a hangover and then like, I get frisky and she's like, the kid's got school tomorrow and you're acting like an asshole. I don't know. You're just married, right? So
yeah,
you have
just
kids yet,
married,
right?
got married in the last year and yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, and that sparkling water stuff when it's the sparkling water mixed with alcohol, that
Yeah.
shit has taken off like storm. Like it first started off with White Claw and now every alcohol company is doing it. I'm
Oh.
so surprised about that.
Okay, well, I like to sometimes mix fine liquors with a little sparkling just to take the edge off because I'm just winding down. I had two work meetings just today, and first it was a good and productive work meeting, and we polished off a 6 pack of Coronas or like the bottles of Coronas, and then we started. Then I had another meeting, a dinner meeting, and there's rum at the dinner meeting, and you just got to go with the flow.
Yeah,
And I usually stick with one or two drinks, but it's been a long day. It's been a long work day.
I feel you, man.
Yeah,
It's good to have a drink after a long day. And
absolutely.
man, before I forget, I want to ask you in the very beginning. So, I
Sure.
heard you recently when you were talking to Rudy, and you got together with him and Edwin and Dan, and you
Yeah.
said you opened 150 booster boxes from Welcome to Wrath, right?
No, no, no. I've opened over 150 Welcome to Wraith Alpha booster boxes.
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
when I
okay.
did the numbers, right, that's like 0.9% of the entire print run. Have you ever
I've
like?
probably done one point something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've done the
awesome,
math
man.
before.
Yeah.
Uh, Thanks. Yeah, I guess it was cool. Unfortunately, the first 100, like I had mentioned in that piece, the
Hmm.
first 100 was probably compromised or tainted because somebody probably got to the hearts in those batches. Or a lot of them were the remnants of like a case where somebody picked out the legendaries
Ah,
and probably posted up the leftovers. So my ratio was not 1 to 4. It was pretty poor. It was probably like out of 100 boxes, like 17 or 18 legendaries and 0 hearts.
oh
Because you
wow.
can imagine, right? If it's 1 in 4, and it's very, very rare um, for two legendaries to appear within a case, especially cold foil legend. I mean, unless you're talking about the weird collation of Monarch, like for the most part, sets 1, 2, and 3.
Hmm.
There's one legendary per case, like 90% of the time, and then
Yeah.
10% of the time, you're screwed.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that. And there was a huge shift from, you brought up a great point, from Crucible War to Monarch, where you had this, a lot of people called it clumping, but really
Yep,
what
yep.
it was they went away from the model of 1 in 4 booster boxes in that case.
Yeah,
Because to,
organized collation. I call it like organized collation. Like, you know, usually after you get the tunic, maybe the mask comes up, and then maybe like every two, like the five legendaries seem to cycle pretty consistently. Like there was a machine. There you go.
yeah.
Here's the scab skins. Here's the tech plate. Here, right?
Yep.
And it goes on. And then every two cycles, 2.5, whatever. It's not an exact science. It feels like there's a heart in there somewhere,
Yeah.
After every 10 legendaries, because there are five legendaries, there's one heart, right?
Yeah,
So
right? And
that's how it kind of works
And
from.
it's good that they did that because of what you were talking about, where in the beginning sets, people would just cherry pick and open like 2 boxes from a case and, like, oh, I pulled a heart. Well, these are 2 extra boxes. I'm just going to sell off and, I made my money. Next box, pull a legendary first box, sell the
Oh,
other 3 boxes because they
a
probably don't
lot
have
of that.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
I was
just
the
a
bag
numbers
holder
game.
for 80 something dud boxes, I guess. And hey, it happens. But that was my entry point into Flesh and Blood. I was still like, I was like,
And it was a
nothing.
beautiful entry point.
Yeah, yeah, nothing impeded my determination, and it was after the first 100 boxes. I was like, I've been had. There's got to be a better way. You know what? And I heard the Rudy content about the Channel Fireball big deal that happened between CFB and LSS. I was like, I mean, there was no agenda. It was just simply, you know what? I feel bad about my first experience because I didn't get a heart.
Uh-huh.
Let me get as much of that product as possible,
Yeah.
so that I don't miss. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah,
if you buy a bunch of boxes in bulk, then you get probably an even better deal. But other than that, like you realized, hey, I love this game, and I really saw that in you. What was interesting too around that time when you made your first video, right, where you discussed, hey, I bought a bunch of product, and
yeah,
I was thinking, okay, from what I heard from other sources, third party, people were like, oh, this big investor from New York bought, 300K worth or however many thousands of dollars worth of product from Channel Fireball. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I watched your video and I was expecting, oh, he's going to talk about ROI or like, cost basis or what. You didn't talk about that at all. You're like, I fucking love this game. This game's
yeah,
amazing. I
absolutely.
I think it has a lot of potential for growth and I put money into things that I like. And I thought that was beautiful. I was like, oh, awesome. This
That's
guy's
the
an
whole
awesome
purpose
collector.
of money, right?
Yeah.
That's like the end goal of capitalism. Get some capital,
Yeah.
and you use that capital to get some cool shit,
Yeah.
right?
You buy what you like.
Yeah,
What's wrong with that? And
yeah,
there are a lot of
exactly.
people out there who like, do the investment thing. That's fine too. It's just like it's really cool. Yeah, it's each his own, but I just thought it was really
Not
cool
me.
that
Yeah, each their own.
you
Yeah.
were an investor at heart. Like that was where your heart was. And not only that, afterwards you started a YouTube channel, doing the FaBled Hunters. And that's
To
awesome.
open up product, and honestly, you'll see when I go down to Florida that, I mean, other than some select cold foils, even including cold foils that I opened, I'm giving the cards away, just like, hey, make some decks, go push this game. Even alpha cards, make some decks, go push this game. Let's make some cool content. Let's do a collaboration, and yeah, hopefully, the viewers of FaBled Hunters, they'll see it and they'll appreciate it, because that's what it's really about at heart, Bronson. Because
Yeah.
like, I don't have to create this whole process of first buying starter decks, intro decks, and then paying shipping and then giving it all away, and then pushing it and having my social media team push it and again and hire editors and other content managers and whatnot. But I'm just doing my best to be like, hey, this is a really cool game.
Oh
There's
yeah.
a lot of people that have been had. There's a lot of people that are kind of stuck in this like weird like Matrix Watsy rut where they're like, oh, let's spend $80 to get 36 packs, and they go up to pack 36. They're like, crap, why did I do that? It's like stubbing your toe against the wall. It's like, why do you want to keep stubbing your toe against the wall?
Yeah.
Don't do it. There's a better way, guys.
There's
God,
gotta be a better way.
there's
Stop
got
the
to be a better
madness.
way, Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Stop the madness.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And stop buying draft boosters for 72, 73, 75,
Yeah.
because you open up that crap, it's going to be worth $20 and you're going to feel bad. Like,
Exactly.
I open up Fab, like, regardless of the card value, just the variation. First edition, well, first as well as unlimited, because I like unlimited too. I'm not
Hmm.
only after the big values. Like, I like unlimited. I have full sets of full play sets of unlimited Wraith and unlimited Arcane right now,
Oh,
because,
rainbow foil and stuff.
well, I actually budgeted out. I actually slum it a little bit. I just want regulars. I just want,
Oh, nice.
because it's always been my principle that if you've got something premium, you preserve the premium copies,
Hmm.
and then the regular copies, you probably pick out the crappiest copies, the dinged up copies, the things that are chewed up, put in a sleeve and play with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel you there. Yeah, and when you have all those like high, so basically the alpha cards with the Welcome to Wrath and Arcane Rising, those are the hot points. Those are collectible. But
of
everything
course.
else, unlimited. Yeah, if it's dinged or something, just play with it. But
Yeah.
um, that brings me to an interesting question. So when you were talking about like buying the boxes and stuff, right? And I thought so. I thought that the print run, and I think you did too. We were all under the impression that it was 22,000.
20,000 plus,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What did you think when you heard it was only like 16.6? Because at that point in time, I think you'd purchased something like 500 boxes. Or, but I don't know how many happened after that and stuff. But like, you
I've
must
never
own a
stopped.
you never stop.
Never stopped. No.
I love it. But like,
I mean, I buy more than I open, and I
yeah,
want to keep opening. I want to just have enough to keep opening and just keep enjoying. And like, here we are enjoying like fine liquor. This is not that expensive of a bottle, but it's something good. It's something
yeah.
that the market 1942 has recognized to be high quality. And you know what? Opening up Welcome to Wraith Alpha, that's a high quality experience as well.
Oh, for
And
sure.
yeah, I'm going to want to save that and maybe open some with Rudy, maybe
Yeah.
open some with Dan and Edwin, and make for a great experience, but share that experience with people. Like, I don't know, a lot of people are like, oh, these are just some wealthy assholes flexing. It's like flexing. That's such a, I don't know, that's just such
That's
a,
a hater's term. I mean,
it's
it's
a
like,
little
come
bit. It's like,
on.
oh, I'm not trying to flex. If I, who needs to flex? If you've actually achieved enough in your life and you're actually self confident but also content,
Mhm.
there's no need to show off. If anything, it's more of a, hey guys, maybe this won't happen that often in the future, so let's record it, let's preserve it, and let
Exactly.
people share on the experience, right?
Because back in 1994, when WotC was coming out with, Magic the Gathering, there was no YouTube, there's no any of this stuff to record.
Exactly.
Can you imagine like 10, 20 years from now when Flesh and Blood is, part of the big four or the big three or however many there are at that point in time? Like, you're
Yep.
going to have all this old content on YouTube that you could see what happened throughout the course of time. Like, back in Flesh and Blood's history, there were three major market spikes in 2020. And when
Yep.
you bought a bunch of stuff from CFB, I think that was what started the second major spike in the game. And man,
Okay.
I wish you saw it. There's a Discord group, right?
Yep.
And the night that everyone found out, people were just like spamming all these like money sign emojis and like all these memes, and everybody was like going nuts and wild
Diamonds and
and buying.
hands and
Yeah,
hearts and rainbows and
exactly.
rocket ships and
It,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
I
a
can imagine.
beautiful time, and because everyone else was like buying stuff out there, like, oh well, then this is really limited. But yeah, no, it was a cool time. But those what saddens me is if these things aren't recorded, they're just gonna poof. They're gonna be gone. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I did open a whole bunch in the dark. Like 100 plus boxes just, by myself or with some buddies. And then other people were like, hey, since you got all these boxes, the most optimal thing to do is just open them. Like the evil investor hoarder thing is just throw them in a corner, nobody ever knows. And then one day, it'll be $100 billion, or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
exactly.
Who's
And it's like, no, that wasn't the intent. This is not like a play on, this is not a monetary play. If
Yeah,
I
I love it, man.
if I cared about ROI or I cared about gains or returns or revenue,
You just
I'd
keep
just
it all
spend more
sealed.
hours. I'd work more,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you only have a limited amount of time in life, so you gotta live it
absolutely.
up. And
Man, you gotta enjoy some things.
whose idea was it for the Christmas tree? Because when I watched your first video, I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like a Christmas tree of Arcane Rising and Welcome to Wrath boxes.
Oh, the Christmas tree was actually later. My first video was
Oh, okay.
just a pyramid
Hmm.
of WTR. And then later, after the shipments started coming in, and after I made my first video, then around Christmas time, then I made a Christmas tree because I got my first majestic foil, majestic rainbow foil, Glint the Quicksilver. And
Oh,
it's like her with
nice.
the sword with the light, and she kind of reminded, and there's like a circle. She kind of reminded me of like the angels at the top of the Christmas tree.
Hmm.
So I
Oh
went
yeah,
through the trouble, yeah, and then she was at the top with the sword and the bright circle in the Beckett slab, and that was a Christmas tree. That's how it came about.
that's so badass. And that graded 9.5, right? I
Yeah,
thought
yeah, 9.5 basic.
that
Yep.
was really good.
Yeah, it's really really tough to get majestic rainbow foils in high grade. I think in one of my the fab graded and sealed group, there was a topic about it that something really iconic like Command and Conquer.
Hmm.
Command and Conquer in Majestic Rainbow Foil, first edition. It just doesn't come in 9.5. The best, I think it's a Pop 1 9 Quad Plus Plus.
Oh
And
wow.
CNC is such a iconic, prolific card. It's just bam. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to destroy your arsenal for 2 for 6, I remember. I think 2 pitch for 6, or was it?
Yeah, two
I
pitch for
don't remember.
6, and you can't. The crazy thing is you can't put defense reactions on it. So
Yeah,
that just, I think that makes it a ridiculous card. If it was
it's
just it
gone.
destroys your arsenal,
It does.
then it would be
Yep.
fine, I think. But what's
Yep.
crazy is you can attack with it, and the play is then you pummel after it, and you're coming in
Yep.
for 10. It's just ridiculous.
It is.
But
It
I no,
is.
I totally agree with you, man. And I call it the secret legendary of Arcane Rising, man. It's just it's like that good of a card. And you're right. Like if you look at the rainbow foiling of Arcane Rising Majestics, what's the population of that? Like we're talking like 1,200 to 2,000 cards. It's less.
400 each.
400 each.
Yeah.
That is
Let me break it
pennies.
down for you. There's 16,667 of Arcane Rising
Hmm.
boxes, right?
Yeah.
And Majestic foils from the cases that I've opened up. Majestic foils happen on average one per case. I've never gotten more than one Majestic foil per case,
Mm.
and I've opened up a sizable amount of cases of Arcane as well. We're not here to just boast. You asked me the WTR question. Don't ask me how much I opened of everything else, because
Okay.
those are big. However, I can say that probably with a good sample size, we're talking about um, one Majestic foil happens per case about 95% of the time. So it's
Wow.
pretty on the money. However, there's also that little rounding error where Majestic rainbow foils don't happen at all. And you divide that number by, long story short, you divide the 16,667, call it 16,000,
Hmm.
divide by 4. And that means that there's only 4,000 Majestic rainbow foils ever printed.
Jeez,
And
that's so low.
there's 10 Majestics, right? Because there's the Command and Conquer, the Art of War, and then there's 8 more, 2 for each class,
Yeah.
right? Like 3 of a kind and Red in
And
the Ledger,
that's a
and
lot of division. When you
yeah,
take the total pop size divided by 10, I mean it.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that
So
is
it's
crazy.
4,000 Majestic rainbow foils divided by 10, and you got 400, and that's just a mind blowing number. It's
That's
very
so low. I mean, do you think that's as a collector, as a high-end collector, do you think that's kind of like what's kind of like the S tier collectible? Is it like alpha cold foils and Welcome to Wrath, and then after that it's majestic rainbow foils if for
well.
alpha?
I'd like to give it a further division. I would have to say
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
that obviously FaBled's cold foils, there's nothing to say about that. There's
Yeah.
about 380 to 400 hearts and eyes, and that's it. End of discussion, right?
Done.
But after that, you've got a little S plus tier under like the goat cards, where there's a tunic and the Arcanite skullcap, right?
Hmm.
And I want to like subdivide it, because right then, after the tunic and the Arcanite skullcap, which are the best generics,
Hmm.
I would have to say you have to put Enlightened Strike and Tome of Fyendal into the conversation,
Yeah.
as well as CNC and Art of War. So the 4 generics, they're right there with the other legendary cold foils. So the Rainbow Foil, Majestics, population 400,
Hmm.
they could go toe to toe with any legendary, in my opinion, any legendary from the first 2 sets outside of Tunic and Cap,
Yeah.
right?
And maybe Mask of Momentum, right? Because I think
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one is
mask
like,
and then bracers. There's a
yeah.
hierarchy for sure. Yep, yep. But it goes down. But like for example, I've shown it, so I'm not secretive about it. I graded out very luckily in Enlightened Strike.
Hmm.
I think there are 3 that made it in 9.5, and one of the 3, last time I checked, it's been a while though, went 9.5 quad plus, and it's
Wow.
population 1. And it's also a majestic rainbow foil. Like
That's
that
insane.
card, yeah, I got an offer, just a friendly offer from another large collector for $40,000, and I'm like, sorry, bro, it's not for sale.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, think about that. During that time, it's an Enlightened Strike, which is it's very rare, but
Yeah.
cold foil hearts were going for probably 30, 35, 40. Like there's a point where cold foil heart even was approaching 50,000. I was just for the condition premium of the Enlightened Strike. I was getting offered essentially prices in the heart range. But yeah,
That's
I'm more
insane.
sentimental, and I like scarcity. I like keeping very scarce things that are, you know,
I
not very plentiful in population. And
I
yeah,
think that's even more valuable than a Cold War because what you said earlier, where grading them, like most of them don't come in really good grades, like the corners
yep.
and whatever. But
Corners
not
like
only
eight,
that,
8.5 corners. Yep.
yeah, and not only that, but there's a ton of sealed product that will never see the light of day for many, many years. So
Yep.
you don't know about that in attrition with all that stuff. So that one of one could stay one of one forever, and then you have literally a one out. I don't know,
No, no,
possibly.
we agree. There's a reason
Yeah,
why I didn't even flinch.
yeah,
I'm not. It didn't even like the pulse didn't even like
yeah.
it didn't move the needle. I was like, okay. On one hand, I could get 40. I mean, I don't want to be an asshole. I mean, I'm
Dude, you're not an
obviously
asshole.
not
You're an awesome guy.
poor about stuff, and I don't want to be like arrogant because we're in a time where some people are having a hard time.
Yeah.
But still, it's like here's a one of one scarce collectible product, and here's 40,000. And anybody can go out there and eventually, over time and hard work, make $40,000. I can't recreate the best Enlightened Strike in the world. That might never.
Exactly.
Right. So you we're on the same
Yeah,
page,
we're on
right?
the, dude, I'm a fellow collector and no, no,
Okay.
no, you're not
Okay.
being like here's what's interesting is like your mindset
Mhm.
because if you talk to other people like the biggest problem with collectibles is pricing it. How do you
Yep.
price it? And every one of you wants to put a fucking number on every little card and everything, but I feel like a lot of times the market gets it wrong. And a lot
Yep.
of times people put wrong numbers to things and they don't understand these background forces and all the pieces because you might say, "Oh, this is a rainbow foil majestic." Oh, but you know, the Fable is more money. No,
Yeah.
you know, not in all cases. If it's one and one, that's huge.
Yeah.
And if you look at the what 400 versus 300, that's only 100 difference. And
380. It's
yeah,
really it's neck and neck in terms of scarcity. Those rainbow foil majestics are neck and neck with the fableds, whereas Tunic's 833, right?
yeah.
Tunic and Skullcap and the other legendaries, they're very valuable. There's a utility value, and there's just a sexiness to the cold foil legendaries, obviously, because we're
Oh yeah.
enthusiasts of the game, right?
Oh yeah.
But I'm just stating the case that especially the very often used high utility generic rainbow foil majestics, they're up there. I don't think they'll ever exceed, like I said, Tunic or Skullcap
Hmm.
within their specific sets, but they're definitely up there. The value is,
Oh,
really compelling, and um,
and they're
like
probably the most underrated, right? Because people don't really think about the number. I feel like not a
yep,
lot of people talk about the rainbow foil majestics and Welcome to Wrath and everything. And no, no, I'm
not
totally with you,
publicly,
man. I love this
not
game
publicly.
like so much. And what is it? When I first started in it, right? There's that moment where, and you probably had this, and it seems like you did, where you go from like liking the game and like, oh, this is cool, to just like, I'm totally in love with this game. I want to pour everything I have into it. Like
Yeah,
what got it for me is I don't know if you saw. Did you see the Monarch set announcement with the cryptogram in it? That
cryptogram.
dude, this Saint, this shit was
Yep,
like amazing. It blew my mind. Basically, for Monarch, before it was even out, when it was first
yep.
announced, they had this nice little cryptogram, but they didn't tell you about it.
Okay.
And I looked at it, I was like, oh, what is this? And then I solved it, and it just blew my mind. And then I went to that, and then the lettering in the cryptogram was all over the card art, and it's all over every like different type of product. Like the Arcane Rising booster box,
Hmm.
they used the lettering from that cryptogram in
Yep.
the box. And it's just like it was so beautiful how they did all that stuff, and I just went ham on it. And I didn't have as much money, but I like bulk, and I bought
Hmm.
like a ton of bulk. And when they released the print run, I was like, oh shoot, I have like a 0.5% of the entire print run in bulk because
Well, that's good.
I have like
That's a good
30.
problem to have.
I have a little over 30,000 cards, and I was like, oh wait, I own like 0.5%. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think you own as a percentage of? And you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but
Okay. Let's see. WTR sealed as well as unsealed. I've got to say I'm easily over 3%, maybe even close to 5% of all WTR ever printed in everything that I hold, and
that's so
that's
cool.
yeah. It's not. I mean, I have to say I got in early,
Yep.
and I I like people are like, oh, you did it for money. It's like I
No.
haven't sold a damn thing. I saw a price and I said, hey, I like this product. I'm going to take it off the shelves. It was open to everybody,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? And then afterwards, people are like, this guy's evil. This guy's depriving us of opportunity.
Nah.
Everybody had that opportunity. At
Nah.
my scale, did I get 20 or 50 or 70% off? No, it was honestly about 10% off. If the box was $700 listed on the website, I probably got it for like 635, and then I
Yeah.
chip in for shipping, or I paid for the FedEx. I put it on my private FedEx account, and that was all she wrote because the boxes were relatively in demand at that price, and there was no flexibility, or there was no elasticity in the price because and the owner, or the owner, founder of Channel Fireball, John,
Hmm.
he's a pretty good negotiator too. He's been in the business for 30
There's a
years,
little
so he
back and
kind of knows
forth
his
there. It
way
wasn't
around.
like
It was a little, yeah. It wasn't
a
like,
15
hey,
minute call. Like, hey, I'll
no,
take it
no.
all.
It was like, no. It was a couple rounds because I come from pretty humble beginnings, and even even $5. I joke with my buddies. This is totally it doesn't make sense to some people, but for example, you've used ATM machines before, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I live in Manhattan. I do pretty well for myself, but there's that one thing. Like if I'm going to be charged like that 99 cent or $1.99 ATM fee, I'm saying screw it. I'm out of here. Let me go look for a Chase Bank or a Bank of America where I actually have an account, because that's how they get you, man. They get you with the
That's how they get
199 and
you.
then the out of network fee like 349, and then before you know it, you see a whole bunch of random charges. And
And
but
in the moment, you're like, ah, I'll just do it, or I'll just pay it. But
yep,
that's how they
it
get
adds
you.
up. It adds
Yeah,
up.
it does that out.
Yep, yep.
But that's funny. That is that's interesting that you're like that now too, because you
Yeah.
could obviously pay it and it'd be like no big deal. But it's
Mhm.
just the principle of the matter, and that's how you build wealth. It seems right. Do you think it's more of like reducing expense and like how do you from like a business standpoint, like how do you look at things?
Well, I save wherever I can. People are like, "How does Saint get these cool T-shirts?" And I'll tell you a little. I'll tell you a little secret. Like
Uh huh.
when the Facebook ad comes up and it's like T-shirts on sale, I look. Like if they're $30 T-shirts, I'm not paying $30 for a T-shirt.
Hell
I'm
no.
paying $8 for a T-shirt. Like these are $10 to $12 T-shirts, and then there's a sale, and then when they're around 8, if it's a really nice T-shirt, I'll pay 10, and that's
Hmm.
it. And I live really simply. Like I literally have employees at my office, and they're rolling around, and I don't know, Yeezys and Tom Brown on Casual Friday. They're like trying to show off, and they're young as hell in their early 20s, and I'm just like, did you really just did you just spend a significant part of your, I know how much you make.
Yeah.
Did you just spend a significant part of your paycheck on a pair of tennis shoes, and then you're doing this to impress other
Yeah. Who?
people? Like
No one else
why did you
cares.
spend, why did you spend $2,000 on a pair of bootleg Adidas that's got a super high premium for has been rapper? I mean, I like Kanye, but recently maybe not as much when he went way too mainstream and went Kardashian. So that's just an aside. But even though I like Kanye and I liked his first 4 albums, I'm not paying $2,000 for some BS tennis shoes that don't do much better than my New Balances. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But the younger, there's a lot of younger generations, and they believe that feeds into their self-worth, and I'm just like, that's really shallow and it's really insecure. You guys shouldn't do it. I
It's a
haven't made
tough
like
road to
a,
go down, and
yeah,
honestly, it's
yeah,
just
and it's
it's a
never ending. It's never ending.
you're right. It's a vicious cycle where you buy it, you feel good for a week, and then you feel like shit, and then you just keep.
You get it.
Yeah, no, I feel
Exactly.
you, man. And no, I'm the same way in a lot of areas. Like my car, I got as a hand me down from my parents, and it's like a really it's like a 19 no wait, a 2001 Honda Accord. I
Okay.
will run that thing to the grave. It has an oil leak. It has two broken windows that I just
Yeah.
like fixed up myself.
Yeah.
I don't like, oh, and the car dealership, when you talked about the ATM, the car dealership is mine, man. Like there's this one time when I was what is it, in my 20s, where I got had to get a new gas cap, right? It fell off,
Yeah.
and the dealership said, "Oh, it's going to be $15 plus installation fee." and it had like a mystery mark next to it. I was like, what's the installation fee?
What's the
And
installation fee?
and the guy's like, oh, let me check. He comes back $10. I'm like, you're gonna charge me $10 to take off the cap from the wrapper and twist it on?
Plug it in and twist it to the right.
Yeah, and the guy was
Absolutely.
like, yeah, and I was no, I just went to
No, come on.
AutoZone, and then I
Yeah, don't
realized
judge me.
AutoZone was great. But
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely. No, I get it. I get it. Like I was saying earlier, I've got a rule. I'm willing to walk 4 blocks to save that ATM fee. It makes no financial sense in terms of time and ROI, but I just I just don't like,
yeah,
squandering resources. And that really, it's never about how much you make. It's always about how much you save and how you deploy it and how you see things, how you see your savings.
yep. No, I totally agree with that. And you said something earlier about the welcome to wrath and how you're like, I'm never selling, and you're like, I never stop buying. And
Yeah.
I think that's really cool because I don't really talk to many high end collectors. I don't know for sure, but that's what I
Okay.
felt. And when we went into this whole like slump or recession type of thing with the trading card game
Mhm.
realm, and people are saying Flesh and Blood's going down 40%, and I'm just shaking my head. Like the amount of transactions for alpha cards are like nil. There might be a
Yeah.
couple, but that's not like people like you. It's not people like, high end collectors. High end collectors don't give a shit. They have their cards, they love them,
Yep.
and they're not gonna get rid of them. But like,
Absolutely.
what is your perception? Because like when people said that, I don't know. I think it's kind of market noise, but I think 90 to 95% of the entire print run of Welcome to Wraith is in the hands of like 100 people. What do you think about that? Because I own a 0.5%, and I just own it from like buying a bunch of bulk from random stores that were like, I don't want bulk. Do you want it for like 2 cents each? And I was like, gimme, gimme. You know?
I think 100 is a bit of an overshoot.
Whoa.
To be frank with you, I'm not going to go into detail on
Yeah.
how low that number is,
Yeah.
but 100 is an overshoot. 100 is
Thank you.
already way generous. There's
Yeah.
maybe,
I was being
the one
conservative,
off,
I
the two
think.
offs. Yeah,
Yeah.
the 100 is already a very large number, but it's also not 10,
Yeah.
right?
It's
It's
not
some
10.
number in the middle where, you know, like just me myself, I speak to a double digit. I'd say they're in the double digit amount of people that own cold foil Hearts of Doll. And then you're like, whoa, once you get to, no, not own one, like own around 5 Hearts of
Wow.
Doll. And once you like talk to a couple people and you're like, whoa, wait, that's that certain X amount of people account for 200 of Hearts
Yeah.
of Doll. Some are still sealed. Uh-oh, there's a lot of ones and twosies. And before you know it, like that's all she wrote,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't know if you saw it. I made a video of uh
Aloric or
yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
dude.
So,
I was just gonna talk about that because when I watched your video, I was
yeah.
like, holy shit! Like, what? Like, if you think his collection is very very impressive, it must be something really good. Like yours is amazing
It's
too.
something that exceeds mine.
Wow.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It's something that exceeds mine, and it's good to keep perspective because I really liked it, and the number that I went in with was 6-figure number. It was a big move for Welcome to Wraith
Hmm.
at the time, and then this gentleman, he went in after the spike. So the multiplier.
Whoa. Yeah.
He went in
Whoa.
after the spike,
That's when he
and then
got
he got
into
more
Flesh
than
and
I
Blood.
had. Huh?
That's when he got into Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, yeah. He even said it was part of the interview. He got in about six
Wow.
weeks after my video, partially due to Rudy, and partially he saw that I did it, and he was like, "Whoa, if this
Wow.
guy believes in the game that much, then I got to look into it."
If
He
he's
was
in it,
originally,
I'm in it.
yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah.
He was initially into Pokemon, and I think he just wanted something different, something that had a lot more scarcity, because Pokemon is definitely not a game of scarcity. There's obviously the collector factor, but I mean, if you've got like 10,000 base first Charizards, like the first edition Charizards, and then the Shadowless, the second set is like what 40,000 or whatever, and then unlimited just print, relatively speaking, printed to oblivion. It's like, how sustainable are those the graded cards that are in great condition? I think
That's
there's
a really
like
good point.
600 PSA 10 first edition Charizards.
Because when you calculate the market cap, was what you're saying. So if you have 40,000 cards times how much they're going for currently, and
Yeah.
what is that like?
It
40
goes to
million.
billions really quick
It's
because
it's
like
crazy.
Charizard's already six figures, and then you got right.
Yeah, but when you look
You
at Flesh
multiply
and
the six
Blood,
figures and add like four more zeros, you're at 10 zeros, which is
and
like
that
billions in market cap. And I'm just like,
that doesn't
you
make
know what?
sense.
It's yes, it's a 20-year-old game.
Yeah.
Yes, it's really popular.
Yep.
Yes, it's great branding. But I mean, we're seeing that right now. I think the asset in trading card games with the largest decline is graded Pokemon, and
Yeah.
it's only going to get worse when the roughly 5 to 10 million graded cards, Pokemon cards, that PSA get
Uh-huh.
released and get sent back to, you know, many households in America of people a year ago saying, hey, I'm going to speculate in this hyperactive market where, everybody's printing tendies off of Charizards.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, because to own like a half a percentage of a Pokemon print run, you'd have to have like a 5-story mansion
Yeah.
filled with cardboard from the floor to the ceiling. Like it's just
Absolutely.
insane. But
Yeah.
when we look at Flesh and Blood, Welcome to Wrath, you said
Yeah.
40,000 Charizards. 48,000 is the amount of each common card. Like the
Yep.
common cards are almost as rare as a base chart. Like that's
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. And a lot of people, the funniest thing I hear is when people are like, "Oh, this is artificial scarcity and everything." It's like, do you know
Mhm.
how much it takes to print a trading card game? It takes a lot
Yeah.
of capital, especially if you're a startup. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know. What's your aspect of how the companies run, like James White and how he's manning the ship, and like, do you think that they should take outside investment and capital to grow faster, or do you think that the rate that they're going is because it does seem like they're gearing up recently with the CFB announcement and everything.
Mhm.
But what's your take as a like you're really good at the business side of things. What do you think about how they're manning the ship? I'm just curious.
Well, I would have to say, I mean, again, when you're asking me opinions like this, I'm all in already, so I'm very
Yeah,
biased. However,
me
from the
too.
business side, yeah, you think about it and you're like, whoa, this guy's a CEO. He says what he's gonna do, and he does it,
Yeah.
and he sticks to it. So, like, I run a prominent business in my sector as well,
Hmm.
and integrity is one of the core pillars, like one of the core beliefs and principles of my organization. And my hat goes off to him because in a very opaque market, like the trading card market, where there's Pokemon, where you don't know really what the print run is, and Magic, where WotC doesn't tell you crap
Yeah.
ever since 1993.
Whatever you think it is, add like 2 or 3 zeros to it.
It might be exactly.
Yeah.
This guy just comes out and he's like, "Oh, we're going to give you the numbers. We're going to give you, the information. We're going to give you the guarantee, like the
Mm.
reserve list guarantee." And then there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no debate. Like 20 years later, there's still that darn reserve list debate about, oh, well, I'm a lawyer. I know better. Oh, I'm a lawyer too. I like Magic more than you do, and I know better than you. I'm like,
Oh,
guys,
they should reprint it or something?
if they're going to reprint the Black Lotus
Uh,
and the Power Nine and the Dual, I don't know if you know Magic, but
yeah,
there's
yeah.
this. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
So
started
there's
with
this
Magic.
reserve list. Yeah, exactly. Like 95, 96, and I mean now they're getting into it. They've got like a new hero that just came out, a new set where if you tap him or activate his ability, he can poop out a Black Lotus.
Yeah, yeah,
And
the token.
yeah, so
But then they didn't do the token at
they didn't
all.
print the
Yeah.
token, but they're skirting around it. Their legal department, and exactly, they're
Yeah.
like, let's do everything possible to not actually be liable for a lawsuit, but let's monetize wherever we can.
Yeah.
And that's not where LSS is. LSS is like, hey, and I mentioned it in one of my videos. I opened a retailer appreciation kit that I purchased from a retailer,
Hmm.
and within it was a gold foil card saying, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for opening, not a gold foil card, a card with gold foiling or embossing, like a
Oh, yeah,
business
yeah.
card.
A
So
business
yeah,
card.
yeah, thank you for opening your business every single day so people can come in and play great games. And I'm just like, that's such a classy touch. That's like
Dude, they're
the
so
old way of
classy.
doing business. It's like a handshake through a box, and then there's a page of marketing material that says, hey, LGS owner, if you push this product, you're going to make 40% margins. Meanwhile, like a couple of years ago, Watsy eliminated MSRP, like a suggested real retailer price, which is like
Yeah.
MAP for Fab. And then what the businesses did where the set would come out, it would sell like hotcakes in the beginning with the pre-sale orders, but after the inventory was on the shelves everywhere, there's like boxes and boxes. Every single LGS, in order to survive and flush out the inventory and make a return,
Hmm.
they'd keep price competing until it went down to barely $1 or $2 of their wholesale price
On that
of
eliminated margins, right?
exactly. And
Yeah.
everybody's it's like there's blue ocean strategy where there's a lot of margin, and then there's red ocean strategy, which is bloody competition.
Yeah.
And yeah, the magic pool is a red ocean, whereas Fab, it's like, hey, not everybody holds this product, and there's a limited amount of product. We're even going to make first print product, and you can charge as much as you want. We're going to give you an allocation of first print. Thank you very much. With the cold foils that everybody wants, go make your money. As long as there's the back and forth, give and take of you carry the first print product, go put some unlimited boxes on the shelves
Yep.
and sell that.
Do events and do all this stuff. Yeah, it's if with Flesh and Blood, it's really like a green ocean, like there's a lot of
Yeah,
money, especially with those first ed. And you made a really good point. And comparing to Magic the Gathering, didn't they have this thing where they gave these stores these boxes, and it was like the vault thing, and they sold them for like $200, and they got them for 50. It was like, hey, this is appreciation for all the hard work you did. Here's like
a long
insane.
time ago. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I feel like that's what the first edition feels like to me. It's not the same, but it's
yeah,
a similar thing. It's like, hey, thanks for doing Flesh and Blood. Here's an insane margin on this product where you
yeah.
can pay rent for a couple
And,
months,
but
and that's
but it
beautiful.
started getting compressed and compressed and compressed, and then I think as far as I was hearing from the LGS owners that I talked to, it was like
Hmm.
they had to sell a whole bunch of standard product or imprint product to get their allocation, to fight for their allocation of masters, modern masters, iconic masters, masters 25, ultimate masters, double masters, for example.
Hmm.
And then that was where they'd make a little fatter margin, but it was not like the glory days where
Yeah,
it costs you $50 for this promotional item and you sell it for 200.
yeah, that's a
Those
lot of
days are
hoops.
gone because of Hasbro being corporate. You know, it's just a heartless company run by heartless executives where they're just like, let me figure out how to screw over the customer base, but just keep them coming back. It's like a crack dealer, we're
Yeah.
going to give you your first dose, but keep coming back, keep spending all your money with us, and we're going to get you hooked. And then not only that, the price of crack is going to keep going up. And I made my numbers, I made my bonus. I could put it on my resume. 3 quarters in a row, overachieved, my goals by 300%.
Yeah.
Works well. I'm a team player. I think outside the box or
Because
whatever
all
the
they
hell they
care about is
say.
the ROI, and
Yeah,
I think the
exactly.
the secret layer stuff was the pinnacle of like, what the heck are they doing? I mean, you're literally printing like 5 pieces of ink. What does that product cost them? Like two
Yep.
dollars to make, and they're
Probably not
selling
even
it for like 50, 60
40,
dollars.
70. Yeah,
The
whatever,
profit
whatever it
margin on
is.
that is nuts, and it's great. And
Yep.
they're not even giving it to the
They're
local
not
game
even sharing it
stores.
with the LGSs.
Yeah, they're
They're
not even
selling it
sharing a little
direct.
bit. They could even
Yep.
say, "Hey, we'll cut you in. It's our cost at $2. We'll give you like $10, and you sell it for 50, and we keep the or no. They could even
They
sell it to the LGS for like $50, and
yep.
and make $40. Nope, nope, nope. Direct to
They
Amazon and all
could
this
do what
stuff.
you said, but they choose not to, and they
Yeah,
just try to line their pockets. And they're doing that at the same time by deteriorating the value of the original card.
yeah,
Like when they were printing Bitter Blossom. Bitter Blossom is a very playable card in modern and other older formats where you come up with fairy tokens, and it was like a $30 card. Now they charge you like $30 for the Bitter Blossom and the Bitter Blossom tokens, and they're just basically flooding the market with extra copies of in-demand cards, which is basically like the idea. What they're signaling is they basically want every single card worth over $20 to be worth like $5 to $10. Like they'll keep printing it until it's essentially worthless. Whereas Fab, you got the James White and LSS team guarantee that no matter what, you know, the
yeah.
buck stops here.
This
This is
is
how
how
much
many we
it's printed.
printed. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
And dude, you know what's beautiful? I saw the video where you got the retail appreciation kit, and I've seen them online. Man, they are stunning. I mean, getting the what is it, the lore book,
Yep.
and getting the nice card and everything. But what was really crazy is before stores got that. I don't know if you've seen, but there's a retail pamphlet, and in the pamphlet it says, "Hey, we're a new trading card game.
Yep.
Hello," and they put it on a little handwritten card, and it said, "Hey, X store and everything,"
Yeah.
and they said like, "Hey, we're trying to get you guys profits. Here's our vision and all this stuff." They were so nice, and to get the retail appreciation kit, you only had to like buy like one case of product, which is
Yeah.
insane. I
Yep.
mean, the amount of like care and love they have for the local game store, it really shines through. I mean, because there's one thing where you can just talk, but talk is cheap. These
It
are
is.
actions, and I
Yep.
don't know. It's great to see.
I completely agree with you. I was just having it sounds super corporate, but like a performance meeting, an update meeting,
Hmm.
quarterly update meeting with one of my colleagues. And same thing, talk is cheap. I would say 90% of the people know how to talk.
Yep.
But so 90% of people, they know exactly what to say. But within that 90% of people that tell you what you want to hear, roughly only about 20% of those people actually follow through with it
Yeah.
and follow through with their intents, and they keep their words. That means out of 90%, you could hear from 90 people that they're going to do something, but what is it? 72 people, 80% of those people are just going to disappoint you.
Yeah, it's all about
So,
results. And
yeah.
honestly, I don't know about you, man. When I hear someone who's a really good talker, I get scared. I'm like, well, wait, because it's very rare, I think, to have someone who's a good talker and who's a doer at the same time. It's
Yep.
it's either they're the quiet doer where they don't
Mhm.
talk about what they do and they do a shit ton, or they
Yep.
talk about, oh, I do all this stuff, and then they just never deliver. I don't know that,
Well, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's mass
Okay.
generalization,
Hey,
but
I'm in
you
New
feel
York
me?
City, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that talk out of their ass
Yeah.
in this city. Come on.
I
There's
think
like
that's a
7
prereq
million
to
of them
even
at
get
least.
into New York City, right? Just
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
a good talker.
You,
No,
you have to be. Yep, yep.
yeah, yeah, because the business world is tough to be in, but
Very
yeah,
fast
man,
paced. Yep.
like Flesh and Blood. I mean, what was that moment? Do you think where was it the whole where you opened up 100 boxes plus, and you're like, I just need to get a heart, man, and you just like, is that what pulled the trigger? Like, what made you fall in love with the game? I'm,
Wow.
I know that's a general question. My bad. I don't mean to
No, no, no.
put you on the
There's
spot.
there's so many moments that I just get deeper and deeper and deeper. There
Yeah.
is this. Okay, so like, um, there is this moment where I played Dorinthia for my first time, and it was like early Crucible of War, where there's Dorinthia, Spoils of War,
Yep.
and like the crap cash in and whatnot. And Dorinthia was spoils. Dorinthia had
The four
crap. What
copper tokens,
yeah,
and then you use
exactly.
cash in to get an
And then you
extra
use
card.
cash in, and then I mean, I looked at that. I was like, "Whoa, they are future proofing this game." And I love playing Dorinthia. I
Yep.
love the idea of here's an attack, here's an attack. I used to be a poker player. It's like, okay, I at least have a pair. I'm representing. I at least have a pair. But then you've got like a razor reflex and a crap. What's the one with the hull where it's like you get to go again if it hits. It's like plus one, two, and three, and you get to go again. It's a rare.
Ah, I totally forget. I know what you mean. Like it
You
buffs the
know,
attack by +3,
it
and if it
buffs the
hits,
attack,
gain
and
go
then
go
if it
again.
hits, it
Yeah.
gets going. I forgot the name. It's just a 3-word card. Anyways, there's that. There's driving blade, and there's just so many actions where it's like, hey, you think I have a pair, but bam, bam, I put two buffs to the card, and now my attack is like a full house,
Yeah.
and you're not going to block this damage. But then on top of that, you've got like I said, spoils of war and then cash in. I was like, whoa, I only right now, I think I learned all the cards. I studied all the cards. There's only copper tokens, but this card says silver and gold tokens. I see you, LSS. I
Yeah. Right.
see you. There's gonna be more, and there's gonna
What's up
be
with this?
layered play. Exactly. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow. When they told me, or when they advertised, they thought 7 years ahead in terms of production and storyline and release dates. They really, really just the whole team poured their hearts and souls into the game to come up with something really quality. And then
Yeah.
that was one of the moments. I mean, not getting the heart and buying a whole bunch of product. That was a moment. Then actually playing an optimized deck and being like, whoa, I'm piloting somebody, like I'm piloting a hero, I'm piloting a character that I actually really care about. I'm not
Yeah.
just some no-name wizard and let's
Wizard
play.
number
Okay, yeah, yeah,
1552. Yeah, it's you are
exactly.
Dorinthia. And yeah, it is a real role play experience,
It
where
is. It
you
is.
feel like you are that hero. And yeah, gameplay is different from each one. And that's interesting you said it was like poker. That is so true cuz when you're
Yep.
playing Dorinthia especially, there's some hands you get and you just get the god hand. Like
Yep.
Steel Blade Supremacy and
Yep.
Iron Song Determination, where you +2 and then
Yeah, yeah,
dominate,
yeah,
is
for sure.
insane. Because then you can
Yep.
just hit draw a card, hit draw a card, and then that other one where it's that you gain one
Flint the
extra attack.
Quicksilver.
Yeah,
Flint the
Glint.
Quicksilver. Yeah,
Yeah,
that one.
that one's
And if they
insane.
block with something, you draw a card. It's like,
Yeah,
bam! I just smacked you. You like that? Oh, here's another one. Oh.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And then
Dorinthia is insane.
it's so much fun when you have the right hand. But then you can get punished, and she's very resource hungry, and she needs a lot of cards. Anyways, I could talk all day about Dorinthia, but that was one moment. Another moment was my video where I accidentally forgot to. I just opened a retail appreciation kit. Then there was James's box with an outside cover retail appreciation kit. I had to make another video because I failed to open that second box because I
Oh,
thought James just gave me the same thing. And James like emailed me. He's like, Saint, just open the box. And then my buddies are like, you're such a putz, Saint. In Western culture, last time I checked, you're an American.
but you're
In
like,
Western
there's
culture,
not many sealed left. I want to
yeah,
keep
there's
it.
not many. I'm just
Yeah,
preserving it. And then I literally had buddies in Western culture. When somebody gives you a gift, it's polite to open it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry. I feel like such an asshole. And then I opened it. And then, yeah, I opened like the bubble wrap and it was already unsealed. I didn't realize that seeing bubble wrap the first time. I opened it up. There was a special card from James, which I put into a very nice frame afterwards. And it was like, oh, thank you for supporting our workmanship. And it was personalized. And there was that Enlightened Strike playmat. And I'm just like literally a tear was welling up. I was just like,
yeah,
oh my God, I can't, give me a moment. I gotta like wipe away a tear of happiness and just like validation and redemption because I was like, whoa, this is the founder of the game saying thank you, Saint. And I'm
exactly
like,
right.
who does that
Who does
anymore?
that?
Who does
Like a
that, right?
handwritten letter to
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dude,
And I'm
that's
never
happened to
gonna
me, man.
forget
It's
that.
so nice to feel that, like validation. Like, hey, like you're promoting the game and you love the game and you're pouring passion into it, and then that passion is reciprocated. It's yeah. What other game company does that? It's
Yeah.
really great.
I gave, my young years, my teenage years to Richard Garfield's game.
Yep.
Like I don't Richard Garfield has never answered fan mail or ever, talked to me or ever showed up to any of the Magic Fests as far as I know. And Peter Atkinson, the CEO, he only talks to I guess Daniel Chang, Vintage Magic,
Hmm.
and usually they're doing business. He's all it feels like it's all very transactional, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm selling this alpha starter for Peter Atkinson, but it doesn't seem like James is like that. James is just like, thank you, thank you, thank you for respecting and appreciating my hard work
Yep.
because this is the culmination of, for James, it's a culmination of, I think, over 25 years of experience in trading card games because he's got, his resume is like Upper Deck. He ran a chain of, I think, Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG singles.
He was in
He also,
distribution, right? I think
yep,
he.
yep, yep. He
Yeah.
was in distribution as well, and he was also working for Hasbro trading card division, right? So
Yeah.
essentially Magic. So within his 25 years, he's done every single step. He's done every single position, and he probably started from the beginning and learned all the way up to executive. And he's like, "Hey, I can do it better.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way.
There's
I'm
gotta
gonna
be
do
a
it.
better way, and this is
Yeah,
it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it better." And
No,
and
and
this is the game.
all it takes is for you to listen to him for a couple minutes and you realize this is a passion project. Like there's this one video on LSS's the Fab TCG YouTube channel
Yep,
where he said, "Hey, when I was 10 years old, I went to a Magic tournament and it was like the best day of my life up to that point." And
yep,
he
yep,
made like four friends that he had for the rest of his life, and three of them were in that room. I think one of them was Robbie Wen, who's the creative director there, and probably
yep,
Chris Gearing, who's the design. I'm not sure, or he's the playtest. But that's just you could hear the heartfelt sentiment. You know how he's like, "Hey, I just love TCGs, and they're a great way to get people together, and
Yep.
I wanted to do my own thing." It's just I don't know. It's just beautiful, and I'm kind of curious too. Like, did you ever consider investing in LSS, or do you think honestly they probably just don't want to? I don't know. Like, have you thought
I've
about
asked the
that?
question. I've asked the question, not directly to James, but I've asked the question to contacts. And let's just say this. I would say they're good. They're good. They got it figured out.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
They're
no, I bet they
okay for
do.
the next.
I would
Yeah,
just like to
and
own one share. Honestly,
yeah,
me,
yeah,
I would
I
just like the
understand.
one share, even if it's like a million shares. Be like, oh, I'm a shareholder. You
I'm a
know?
shareholder. Yeah, but they want to keep that pretty tight.
Yeah.
They've already sold a bit of their company really early on
Uh huh.
to some trusted people that also believe in the game. I think the number that was stated was 20 or 21%. And now that they thought ahead, they're like, this is what we're going to need for these upcoming years.
Yeah.
And then now they're saying, hey, now we're ready, we're good, we're making money, they're making money, stores are making money, customers are buying the game, and I don't think for the foreseeable future they need to raise any money.
Yeah. There's
However,
really no
if
need.
they if God forbid, not knock on wood, if God forbid anything happened, they'd have at least 100 high net worth individuals lined up to invest. I'll throw it out there. I'll be one of them. I
Oh,
don't
me
mind.
too. I just want
I'll
one
buy.
share. I'll
I'll
pay a
buy.
hundred.
Yeah, I'll buy
Like,
points of the company, whatever. I'd love to, be involved, but they've got it figured out. They don't need you. They don't need me. They
nah.
don't need anybody. They're just gonna run away with it. The only thing, speaking of equity,
Yep.
the only fear I have, and a lot of the high net worth collectors of Fab have, is please don't sell to Watsy when
Oh,
when the day comes. Please don't sell to Watsy. That's like the opposite of cool, right?
I
That's like,
know.
yeah. If that were to, it's still early, and Watsy's paying attention. They're responding, but please don't sell to Hasbro. That's like
Oh, that'd
the
be the
worst possible
worst.
thing, I think.
Because then it
Yeah,
would just be milked, where it's like cold foils for everyone, and like
yeah.
we're
And then
reprinting the heart. Yeah, no, I feel you, man. Well, I mean, what do you think about Watsy and then like going after them? Because they could like say, hey, Robbie or any of the group of LSS, we'll pay you like 200K salary to work for us, or just an absurd amount of money just to scalp their employees, or maybe like do a lawsuit that's never gonna work, but they have like how many, like 100 lawyers on their payroll? Do you think that's a
well,
threat?
here's the thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry
Um,
if I'm going too down deep
no,
in the
no,
rabbit
no,
hole.
no. I
That
I,
this
I
is
get
where
I get.
my mind goes
I,
like all the
hey,
time.
I'm a business person. I structure
Yeah.
deals literally every single day.
Yeah,
So
I don't. I
you're,
just like
it's okay.
theorize.
It's a really great question, and let me paint a picture for you.
Hmm.
You are with a team predominantly of friends who you've known half your life, who you've trusted, who you've plucked out and selected for like this Green Beret special forces, like Delta Force team of TCG
It's a
executives,
great
right?
analogy. Yeah.
Yeah. And for the past 7 years, before you even went public, you've been thinking about Chain. He started out with Chain, like James said, he made Chain like 8 years ago. Like
What?
Chain, the character Chain, yeah, he said it. I mean, I
I
watch a
missed
lot of
that.
his content. He,
Yeah.
like, when they were unveiling the talents, the character, the hero talents, like 2 nights before, like the pre-release within LSS, when they were rolling out Monarch, he said Chain, I thought he was one of the earliest heroes. I thought of him 7 years ago or 8 years
Wow.
ago, it might have been. And I'm like, these guys, they were a squad, and they grinded it out with probably low or at best average salaries, competitive salaries as an executive team. And A, he must have given them a lot of hope. B, he must have given them some profit sharing or stock options, because that's what I would do. And that's what I did for my own company,
Yep.
like my own primary business. And C, um, sometimes, most of the time, it's not really about the money.
Yeah.
So as long as he locked it down with the mission of the company, plus he kind of golden handcuffed them in a nice, friendly way by
Yeah.
giving them stock. And after these 7 years, right? So the people that lasted those 7 years, they're going to sit around for a minimum of 7 years to see their most recent life's work, their past 7 years of work, play out.
Yeah.
And given what happened between 2019 till present, you don't think they're waiting for set 5, set 6, set 7 for their, all the stories to come out and this game to just continue growing? You you'd be out of your mind to
Oh yeah, jump
not
ship now
stay on
because
the
it's
board.
just
Yeah,
going
jump
up.
ship. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It was like the third most sold product in the second part of Crucible, or I think when Arcane Rising Unlimited came out, or around that time, a few months ago, it was the third most sold TCG on the planet. And then, like recently, the ICV2 report said it's the Monarch First Edition was the highest selling box out of
That
any
was
SKU,
insane.
and it
I
is.
couldn't believe that data.
Yeah.
No, that was nuts. No, I totally agree with you. I'm just worried that what you were saying with Watsy offering them just a f ton of money, or
Hmm.
doing some other like little jab here or there to like throw them off their game. Because
Yeah.
other than that, I think Flesh and Blood is just like, I like, I you and I have believed in it, for a longest time. But
Earlier.
now
Yes, it's
it's
earlier.
like there's a lot of validation. TCG
There is.
player picked it up, Channel Fireball picked it up, and dude, Star City Games picked it up. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
I've been on Star City Games a lot for like Magic the Gathering. They have sold nothing other than Magic for like their inception probably, and like this is
Yep.
the first time because they just realized, hey, there's money here. Like this is
We have to get on board,
yeah,
or else we'll be left behind.
yeah, yeah. It's
And
just
any large big box LGS, they see the writing on the wall.
yeah,
I mean, this is their livelihood. They see Hasbro taking it to direct Hasbro website plus Amazon. They see the
mm,
writing on the wall. They're like, basically Hasbro's saying, "Oh, we've got the customers' wallets. As long as we print our IP, they don't care about the LGS. They're going to give us their money and they're going to come on our website. Are Amazon's cheaper than you
yep,
LGSs? We don't care about you LGSs. We don't care about organized play. We don't care about holding events. We don't care about people meeting, people gathering."
yep.
So Magic
Go
essentially
figure.
took out the gathering,
Yeah,
right? It took out the gathering, and they're using COVID, or the recent pandemic
yep.
COVID, as an
As an
excuse, as a
excuse,
reason, as a like a
scapegoat.
little veil. Exactly. They're
Yeah,
scapegoating COVID. Oh, we can't do it. We just want everybody to be safe. No, you don't. You just want more money.
yeah.
And you
And
know,
Rudy talked about that today in
yeah,
his video, and about how like Amazon is like the new thing, and how Amazon's going to be 50% of their revenue. Like that's their target. Like, hey, get it all there, and
and
that
then
was all
secret layer is
speculation.
probably going to be another 40%, and then
Yeah,
that last 10% is left for the LGSs. But before you know it, give it 2 years, and it'll be fuck you LGSs. Like, go close down, shut down, and die. We don't need you, right?
exactly. Well,
And that's
it's kind of
horrible.
odd timing, right? Do you think it's serendipitous with Channel Fireball, especially? It's like at the same time they're getting dumped by WotC, Legend Story Studios is there to, come in and be like the next big thing. And now
Yeah,
they're holding the events, and like, because that's what this game needed, is media coverage. And when they
yep,
have all these events and everyone has their iPhone out putting it on YouTube, like this
yep.
thing is going to just take off. It's just,
It already is.
it
People are
is.
already gearing up. They're buying E-strikes. They're buying CNCs. They're buying tunics and skull caps, and everybody's putting on their gear and getting ready, including myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tune some sort of Bay deck, and I'm gonna give people my best. I don't care how many chains, how many Bravos, how many Katsus I've got to go through. I'll even smack around Prism. I like Prism. Well, I'll give her the pimp hand. I'll give her the Bay pimp hand.
But you'll do what you got to do to win. Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm coming with
Yeah,
Bravo. I'm a collector, but hey, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna have fun, and it's gonna be blast going to all events. And it's funny too because
yeah.
we were watching a LSS stream one night, and I was like, oh, they should go to Orlando, and you were saying, oh, they should do it in Vegas. Remember
Yeah,
that? I don't know if
yeah,
you,
yeah.
yeah, that was
I
cool.
do, I
And
do.
it's funny
Yep.
because now they're doing it in Vegas and Orlando. But
Vegas first, Nationals Orlando.
yep,
And hey, I we didn't catch up this recent time. I was doing stuff with Rob Seigel, then I was doing stuff
awesome guy.
with Rudy and the boys, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Rob had mentioned that you and him are neighbors. I don't think we've interacted like this in the past, like
No,
up
not at
until
all.
this week. But I'll be there for nationals. If you're going to be there for Vegas, please come through.
We'll do,
please
man.
have a drink or 20, and let's have an amazing time, man.
I think I'm going to Vegas. I once I finalize that though, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna
Hit
message
me
you.
up. Yeah, hit me up on Messenger, whatever platform. I'll be glad to plan it out and set some time aside, break bread with you and other prominent content creators, and it'll be a great time. Just because it's just good to be surrounded by positivity within this community, and
Totally
so
agree.
far, like 99% positive, 1% that outlier being a d-bag, but you can't get away from all of them, right?
Yeah, as they say in the accounting realm, it's immaterial to the financial
It's the
statements as a
material,
whole. Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
it really is.
Yep,
And
yep.
and if I could do one final subject, man, I want to talk about like FaBled Hunters. So
Yeah,
you started a YouTube channel. What are your goals for it? I saw you got a new studio. That's awesome. And
yep.
I know some people are talking about echo. I didn't really hear too much echo
It's
personally.
it's bad. It's bad. We're
Oh
we're
yeah,
working on it, but I had to get this July 4th content done. But yeah, it's getting worked on. We're gonna do our best to learn about soundproofing. Like we're gonna watch a couple of Google videos we're gonna Google some YouTube videos and figure it out. But I think the soundproof material has been ordered and
nice.
we'll take it in stride. We're also gonna decorate it. We'll probably make it into an episode. Fabled Hunters, the whole idea was just, hey, Saint, you bought all these boxes like a doofus because when it first happened, people were like, "You're an idiot. You don't need to buy 400 something boxes of Welcome to Wraith
You
to get a
kind of
heart."
do.
I was like, well, I just want to be sure. I want to be absolutely sure because I did 100, and apparently 100 loose boxes wasn't enough. Now I got to do cases just to make sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a smart move because it's an in-demand product now.
Yep.
But the whole idea was to just kind of be like Dan from Open Boosters. Literally, I was inspired by two
That
people,
guy's really cool.
Open Boosters and Rudy, and I got to meet them last weekend, which is amazing.
How
But
awesome is that?
yeah, it's super sick. It's super duper sick. And I saw Dan do it. I was like, I don't want to bite off of Dan's thing because I privately on private streams on Facebook, like private little hole in the wall channels with high end collectors. I've opened up beta. I've opened up alpha, a
Whoa.
magic beta, magic alpha, magic unlimited.
Like a booster
Uh,
box of alpha?
no,
Oh, a
starter of
starter.
alpha and starter of. I mean,
Wow.
even a starter deck of alphas just sold for $84,000. So it's really scarce. There's probably
Wow.
like under 200 left of that in the world. I love WTR. I love WTR Alpha, but
Yeah.
nothing beats the original. Like you open that up, that's like a 1954 vintage wine that is
Yeah.
worth a whole bunch. It's
Because
great.
it's
It's
the
like
original. Because Magic kind of like started all, Magic, Pokemon.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, that is insane.
So yeah, I did that, but I did it privately, and I'd never wanted to go public. And I wanted to respect Dan's boundaries because he's the alpha and omega of opening up boosters, hence open
Open
boosters.
boosters.
But
Yeah.
but open boosters has traditionally been for Magic. I was like, wait a minute, I could do open boosters for Fab because nobody's doing that yet. And other people like, you should open up this stuff. You should not be selfish. You should share this experience with everybody. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's a good point. Let's share this experience with everybody. And I did that. And once people started engaging, once LSS James, you know, reached out, I was like, whoa, this is really significant. And after I did my first
Yeah.
spoiler of the 3 cards, a spoiler for Monarch, the
How awesome was that?
Spherical
You
and
had
the
epic spoilers. Those were really cool.
yeah,
The
yeah, the
the
three
aura
auras, the
tokens.
prism,
Yeah.
and then they're all like promo 25, 26, 27. And I graded them and I labeled them James White collection because it came with the letter and I sent it to
Yeah.
Beckett.
That adds
And they all
provenance
came
to
out
it.
gold. Like one of them came out quad. All the labels are gold. I was like, whoa, this is meant to be.
That's
This is meant to
awesome.
be, and I'm never. Well, I can't say never. I mean, maybe other projects will come up, but it's just staying the course, supporting Fab, and hoping they get to a couple million players at
Yep.
least. Yep.
Because what's gonna happen like with all this stuff once it's a couple like now the player base must be in like the 50 to 100,000, maybe a little
Easily,
bit
yeah,
more,
50 to 100. Yeah,
maybe a little bit more, but
yeah.
to your point, yeah, once it gets up to the millions, yeah, this game is just gonna be Yeah, it's gonna be pretty insane. But I mean, I love your channel. I love how you're opening the booster boxes and you're talking about everything in flesh and blood, man. It's really cool to watch. And I whatever hate you get, man, you can just throw that out the window. Like from day one when I watched your video, I just loved it. You had a drink in your hand. You're like, hey, like I love this game.
I'm a drinker. We're gonna
Exact
drink at some point.
exactly, man. And it's like you could buy like another like house somewhere or some investment property, but no, like, hey, life is short. I love Flesh and Blood. I'm
Yeah,
gonna buy a shit ton of this and open it and have a good time with people, and that's beautiful. And not only that, you're doing a YouTube, the YouTube channel thing. That's
just
so
trying
cool,
to give
man.
back and literally giving back, right?
Yeah,
Giving boxes back, giving starter decks to anybody, just to change some people's hobby experience so that they're not in that cesspool of crappy people and vitriolic people and haters and insecure people that are just hiding behind screens and talking all this shit, right?
yeah,
We don't need to do that. We can, like, you're straight up, you're Bronson, I'm
yeah,
Saint, or I'm under FaBled Hunters. Everybody knows most of the time it's me typing behind FaBled Hunters.
yep,
And it's like, I don't need to hide. I
yeah,
want to meet people. I want to hang out with other people. I'm not ever going to, make a burner account and go, snipe somebody or talk smack, because I'm not insecure and not, my self-worth is at a certain level. My time is valuable. I've got better things to do than drag people down, to try to make myself feel a little more validated for a couple seconds.
yeah.
And then, and
It's
then
more
boom, after
validity
that.
in just like propping people up and being part of an awesome community. Because yeah, man,
Yeah,
this community is
exactly.
awesome. Like everyone's nice, or 99%. Yeah. But is there anything else you wanted to say at the end, like about Fable Hunters, or ask me a question? I know I try to ask questions to prolong the
Yeah, we were
conversation.
having a great conversation. Oh my God, the time just passed.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
been
I
like,
didn't want to go
wow.
too fast. Or I didn't want to go too far. My bad.
Hey, what are you looking to do for your channel, Drinking with Bronson, and how can I in the future help promote it, other than maybe sending a link and mentioning that I did an interview and clipping it? Like, how can I help, man? Because
I don't
we're
know.
trying to grind and build our channels, just like I think Rudy and Dan and Edwin, they helped me. They posted a
Yeah.
video and they've got me in there just being me, and viewers just happen, right?
Yeah,
Any way I
honestly,
can
man,
help?
just like if we do this again, that'd be great, man. Just
Okay.
being in contact, just yeah, just chilling with you, man. Yeah, I think that like what I'm doing with my channel, I'm not trying to worry too much about like growth as much. Maybe I should look at monetization. I haven't really, but yeah, this is like my content that I like the most because I talked to that guy Red Zone Rogue, right, Kel,
Yeah,
and he
Kellen's amazing.
yeah, he's really cool, and he talks about like evergreen content, and I feel like that's what I like with drinking with Bronson. This is normal chat, normal people, and yeah, I don't know, just being a friend, I guess. I know that sounds a little cliche.
Absolutely, man.
Maybe it's the
I'd love.
wine talking, but
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'd love
yeah,
to keep in touch. I'd love to hang out. Next time I'm in Orlando, you better be there for nationals. You can't
yeah,
skip
man,
out of nationals
dude,
in your own hometown.
that would be a bad look for real. Yeah, I'm definitely going to nationals. I'm like 80% going to Vegas, and if I do, man, I'm hitting you up.
We're hanging.
Yeah.
MGM Grand, okay?
Oh
Vegas,
yeah.
baby.